Last orders at the bar, please.
Welcome to Tavern Tales, a curated 5e Dungeons & Dragons adventure set in the tales of the Yawning Portal campaign module by Wizards of the Coast. Previously on Tavern Tales, our heroes have defeated ghouls and burning corridors in White Plume Mountain. But what lies in the next room from the depraved mind of the evil wizard Charybdis?
Come sit down and drink with the enemy, raise a glass and toast to the enemy, and I'm not gonna do this on my own. So come sit down and laugh with the enemy, raise a glass and sing to the enemy, and I'm not gonna do this on my own. So I won't end up being alone, 'cause I won't drink my drink alone. So what about you? One beer or two, I'll drink to you.
The burning acrid stench of rotting ghoul, and in this disgusting acrid bracken water, it leaves you all with a distinct hint of nauseousness as you breathe in a sigh of relief at the conclusion of this combat. You explore the door the ghouls emerged from, and it opens into a dark recess that barely holds enough for 8 bodies, let alone normal moving sentient things like these ghouls were been stacked like cordwood. I would take it from the light in your eyes, Paige. Did you want to grab one of these amulets and inspect it?
Yes. I go over to the dust pile of the incinerated...
You mean the mud pile? Because it's all in water, right?
Yeah, of those ghouls. And I sift through it to find one of the amulets that I heard fall, and I pick it up to look at it.
How good are you with sorting through, like, the remains of things? Does that turn your stomach at all, or are you perfectly content?
No, I think I'm perfectly content. Based on the things I probably see undersea and how I eat things.
Cool.
Probably good.
Right next to your feet, Zuvus is moving his hands through viscera and undead flesh, pulls forth this amulet that kind of sparkles. It's silvery and blue. There's a stone set in it that very much is reminiscent of the color of the eyes of these ghouls. As Zuvus holds it aloft, poof, the fire and the light that was cast by your rolling ball of sprinkler death goes out as the minute is expired, leaving you all shrouded in mostly darkness except for the light cast by the moon-touched sword.
Find anything interesting?
Yes, I have this amulet here. Can I do an Arcana check on it?
Yes, but not right away. You're in the dark. You're surrounded by viscera. It does not seem like the perfect moment to go investigating and examining a necklace. You gather up the remains of your gear. Much more important, not to lose anything in the water here as you make your way to the stairs. Thesis peeks around the stairs, no doubt.
Yep.
And actually looks up to find a landing there that is dry and safe and 10 foot by 20 foot in size, so more than enough for the 3 of you to reconnoiter there. You drop off gear, collect everything that you possibly could from this area, and it's then that Zuvus himself plops down after getting his armor back on and all of the other accoutrement of war, and he has a look at the necklace. Did you want to pick up a necklace as well, Thesis?
Nope. I want to have a short rest.
Okay. How long is a short rest? An hour?
Yeah.
Talk about it with the group.
You guys, I'm not feeling so hot. I'd like to maybe have a rest. Is that what they call them?
Or I have this very prestige, fancy stick that would allow me to heal both of us to our full capacity. Oh no, I can only use 1 charge at a time, can't I?
I don't know. What is it?
The Rod of Resurrection, one of my other magical items.
Right. What does the Rod of Resurrection do?
I get 5 charges. Healing is 1 charge. Resurrection is 5 charges.
Wow.
I gain 1 daily at dawn.
Yep. And you could use individual charges to heal people.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could save it to make sure somebody doesn't die and resurrect them. Also, if you take a short rest, you can all spend your hit dice
True.
to heal, because you're all hurt.
True.
Some less than others.
Kind of. Yeah.
Okay. I take back what I said.
After your rage ends, what happens?
So the claws retract and he starts to calm down.
Right. Do you have to take a level of exhaustion, or is there anything that comes from that, from raging?
Doesn't say.
Okay.
I'd have to read, but yeah, it doesn't say anything about exhaustion or anything like that.
Do I get to tell you my Arcana check?
An hour is not too much of a big request from our warlock for a short rest, because the warlock needs to recover their spells. So if you wish to spend your hit dice, do so now, as you spend an hour on this landing, drying off, finally free of the muck and sludge and water below. The fires down below peter out for the most part of the ghouls that were still on fire, and you get to add your constitution bonus to your dice that you're rolling for hit die, so you can roll them one at a time. You don't have to roll multiples if you don't wish to. So did you spend any hit dice there, Thesis?
I did. I had to spend 4.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So too did Zuvus. So you've spent your hit dice, you have 3 remaining, and then you're going to get 3 back from your next long rest. So you will not get
But I got my spell
full.
slots back.
And you got your spell slots back. Your rest ends when Thesis gets up and says,
Well, that feels a lot better. Thanks.
Sorry, I'm still wondering if my Arcana roll did anything.
oh yeah, we'll get to that.
Okay. So long ago I rolled.
Well, shall we continue forward?
Yes, but that was quite unexpected and inconvenient.
Would you normally take a short rest like this on your adventures, Vulcan?
Sometimes,
Really?
to observe the local cuisine vacation that I take with my guy.
Did you roll any hit die?
I spent 2.
You spent 2? How much hit points did you lose?
7, but I didn't roll high enough on the first one. So I'm back to full now.
Okay.
I didn't roll high enough, so I wanted to get to full, and I had
That's
to spend
fair.
2.
And I mean, if you're the next thing you do is a long rest, you're going to get them back anyway. So you might as well spend 2 or even 3 if you need to.
No, I needed 2.
Anyway, so you've done your short rest, not something that the barbarian probably ever normally takes, because that's part of being a barbarian, is just a relentless amount of energy, and then you crash for your 8 hours, get up and do it all over again.
Right.
You don't need spells to recover. Oftentimes you don't need hit points to recover, because you take so little damage anyway when you're raging. Anyway, so let's go to your Arcana check. Your Arcana check, how did you do?
23.
So these amulets are undead controlling amulets, but also they do not allow the spell or the ability turn undead to have any effect on these ghouls. So if a cleric or a paladin that had turn undead as available to them, it would not have done anything to these ghouls. The magic, though, is tied to the ghoul itself and was lost and diminished and dims upon use, so you would not be able to do much with this, but this might be of value at some religious order that you're aware of on land or beneath the sea, that because this sort of tinkering with the natural order of things is a vile necromantic art, and we don't want people to not be able to turn undead. That's super necessary.
Yeah.
There you go.
Very interesting.
You tell anyone this, or?
Yeah, I'll pass it on to the group. These amulets are very interesting, and had we not been who we are, there are certain abilities we may not have been able to use to defeat these ghouls. They control the undead.
Seems handy in certain circumstances.
Yes, we likely do not want these amulets falling back into the hands of the person who placed them here. It may not be a bad idea to collect them and pack them away with us.
If you insist, their monetary value is next to none, so they are of no use to me.
They actually may have great monetary value based on what they can do.
Tomato, tomato.
Zuvus is going to go back and try and collect all of them so that whoever placed them here can't use them.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Make a investigation check.
They're all gone.
18.
18 is more than enough to find all 8 of the amulets
Wonderful.
and collect them all up.
Fantastic. I will place them in my bag.
Okay. That's 8 pounds of amulets.
I will place them in Thesis' bag.
That's funny.
I'll carry it.
Definitely not Your -1 strength person, very interested in carrying a lot of gear since you're already wearing half-plate armor. You felt so naked before.
Oh, yes.
Your linen shirt is all like covered in, because you wore a white cotton shirt, or is it linen?
A white cotton shirt and brown linen pants.
You will need to pull out a new cotton shirt because the claws and slaveringness of the ghouls has definitely rent your shirt asunder, and it's stained and whatnot.
Okay. I also didn't realize Cloak of Protection also gives my AC +1.
Oh, cool.
So that would make it 18 right now.
It would.
The things you learn.
So you would not have been able to actually wear the Cloak of Protection earlier because you said that it has silver thread in it, and therefore it would have caught fire and had to be misstepped. Anyway, it's the first thing you put on.
Yes.
After the terribleness of the corridor of fire, I guess it's called. Anyway, you move up the stairs. There's another set of stairs to a landing in a doorway, and you open. The door is actually open already, and when you peer in, you can see the path to the west is broken by a sizable gap, and you can see a glint of metal at the bottom of the opening. The floor beyond this area has a silvery sheen to your eyes, and in the distance, you can see another hole, beyond which is a patch of floor that adjoins the western wall. Would you like me to draw this because that was very complicated to your ears?
Yes, we would.
So, not that you can see entirely down all the way down this essentially 100-foot long corridor, but nonetheless, it's a big, long room. There's no doors that you can see 20 feet across from you. There seems to be a hole in the floor all the way across, and the whole floor that you can see from the guttering light of a torch, from the silvery moonlightness of the moon-touched sword, and from your dark vision, there's a silvery sheen on the floor that you can see. What do you do?
You can go touch the silvery sheen.
We may want to use something to touch it first, just in case.
Silvery sheen is just inside the door itself on the floor that you can see. So you could easily just reach down and touch the silvery sheen, or you could touch it with something else. It's fine.
Feel free to touch it. Go ahead.
All right, I'm going to go and touch it. Dip a porcelain finger, reinforced porcelain finger.
Yeah, it slides. Like as soon as you touch it, it just slides across.
It's like covered or silver coated or something.
Whatever that silvery sheen is, as soon as you put your fingers on it, your hand slides away.
Yeah, it's like a mirror, sort of.
No, mirrors aren't pretty slick. Like ice. Like you put your hand down on ice. It's a frictionless surface, and it just slid.
Cool.
I'm going to take my shield and put it down.
Are you going to pull a Christmas vacation?
Yeah, I'm going to sit down on my shield on it.
Cool. Make an athletics check.
Oh, no.
An 8.
So you put the shield down, and it starts to slide away, and you jump onto the shield.
Yeah.
And it slides across the floor. And you can see that the wall in front of you, as you start sliding faster and faster and faster up to the wall, you can see it also has this silvery, shiny stuff on it. And you slide and crash into the wall and take a D4 of damage because your athletics check was so poor. 2 points of bashing damage as you crash into the wall, but you actually go sliding up the wall.
Sweet.
And then slide down the wall, crashing, like even though you've hit it with a ton of force and hurt yourself in the process, you continue to glide and slide, and then you slide back down. And if you were to throw out an arm, and your colleague, one of the two of them, was to reach out and try to grab you, I would let them make a check, an athletics check, to haul you back through the door. Otherwise, you're going to crash into the side of the door and continue careening on down the hall.
I'm going to ping pong. Catch me!
With like a gleeful tone. And what is the expression on your face?
Oh, I'm enjoying this. This is fun.
Okay.
This is
I love it.
I wouldn't have decided to do it unless she thought it was like...
And of course, you can't see anything. It's dark from where because you didn't bring the torch and you don't have the sword.
I'm like, it's like a wild ride.
Great. Does anyone reach out for Thesis?
Yeah, Vulcan's going to reach out.
All right, make an athletics check. Just so you know, if you fail this by more than 5...
We're going sliding.
I don't know. What are you getting a second
Because I'm going to spend to gain advantage.
You spend the blue gem?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I was just telling you that if you fail by more than 5, you as well will fall out into the corridor and start sliding around. The difficulty is not especially high. It's a 14. So you would need to have a 9 or less to fail and slide out into the corridor.
Still spending that gem.
You spending the gem? Okay.
Yeah. Good thing I did. Oh, no, wait. Never mind.
I think you're good either way.
27.
Yeah, what was the other one?
18.
Yeah. I mean, what is your athletics check?
7.
Yeah, you needed to roll a 2.
Well, Kyle, I did
I totally understand. You're like, well, Kyle, I failed before, and I will fail again.
So
not right now.
Vulcan's going to time it perfectly. He's going to reach out, grab Thesis, pull her in along with the shield,
Oh, nice.
and just stare down at her. Don't do that. And he's just going to pull her onto the friction full ground and let go.
Perfect.
Party pooper. It's very slippery. I do not recommend walking on it.
And those dark lines are holes that we can see in the floor?
You can't really tell. It seems to be like a shine of metal maybe at the bottom of it. You can't really tell. It just seems to be a hole in the floor.
Okay. And that's the only way we can go, though.
There's no other paths forward other than down this hallway. I drew the door in way down there. Not that you can see it at all.
Mm-hmm.
I do have some rope. Maybe I might be able to fly into the room, anchor it somehow, and we can all orderly, as he looks at Thesis while saying orderly.
You can just cast fly on us, on Zivas and I, again. Just, giving us suggestions. It seems to work to just go over obstacles.
Now, while Thesis said again there, it turns out that did not actually happen yet, because, as I said, the group went to the left first and not the right. Because you've not cast fly yet.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah. I could cast fly to help out Zivas and I.
What I can do is rather than you having to spend a spell for fly, I can go in with my innate fly, scout out the room.
You're straight up wings, fly boy?
Yes.
All right. Nice.
See if there are any spots for us to either land or anchor ourselves.
Yeah, I get you a little reconnaissance. Mm-hmm.
Precisely.
Mm.
So yeah, I'm going to do a little recon in the room. See if there's any spots for us to tie a rope to, or if there's a spot that we can fly to and land. And then
How does taking off through this doorway and making sure you don't step on the silvery stuff work?
Vulcan's going to try. He's going to take his great axe and he's going to try and see what happens if he buries it into the floor. Like what will happen? Like if it will bounce off, kind of like what happened with the copper plates. Like we hit those to do anything. So he's just going to see if he can like clang the axe in, see if it anchors there, gives him a spot to like jump off of or springboard off of to fly.
Okay, sure. Roll to attack.
19 to hit.
That is not enough. It glances harmlessly off the ground. It is a very hard stone floor. You leave a tiny, tiny nick where there is no silvery stuff, but you do not bury your axe into the stone. And you do not seem to do any damage other than kind of dull your axe a little bit.
Okay.
I intimidate the floor. No, I'm just kidding. Grr.
Would I be able to cast web on the walls to cover the floor so we could make it over that difficult terrain instead of this one? At least it's a sticky terrain.
Yeah.
We can control our movement.
Yeah, web isn't really big enough, but you could absolutely cast web on the floor and the walls and then have a much more frictioned movement, like double friction as opposed to zero friction.
It would be slow, but,
If we are not finding other ways to pass, I could try and cast a web to assist us, but it may take us longer and it may still be difficult to cross.
It's one of the only options we've got.
I like it. Go on, Spider-Man.
Vulcan first. Make your athletics check, jump into the room, and fly around.
18.
More than enough for you to leap into the air, unfurl your wings, and fly around the room a little bit. You get a better understanding of the fact that there are pits, and each one of these pits that's 5 feet wide and 10 feet deep, and you can see that the bottoms of these pits are lined with rusty razor-like blades for people to slide and fall into. There are 2 of them, and immediately beyond one of them is a door that you can see on the right-hand side, but the door itself has no silvery sheen to it. The doorknob is just a normal doorknob, and it opens inward, not towards you, but away from you, into another room. But you couldn't alight anywhere near it, given that it's silver substance of frictionlessness everywhere.
Okay. So it appears there may be some pitfalls. So it is good that we are using...
You fly back, land outside the door, and you're with your comrades again.
Yes. So it appears that there are some pitfalls in this room. No pun intended. It is imperative that we make sure that we have as much traction and grip as possible while getting through this room. There appears to be a door on the other side.
So if we clear this first section, we'll have another section to clear.
Unfortunately.
It's the same silvery material. Yes. Doofus, do you want me to cast fly on you?
Yes, I think that might be the best way to get through this passage.
Right. Thesis touches Zuvus's back along the shoulder blade muscles and sort of gently strokes them down with a finger. And then herself, as she says, Raven Queen, grant me your raven wings.
It's gorgeous. Magical effect takes effect.
Sort of like shadowy raven like
Vulcan,
wings.
Do you lead the way, or do the magic flying people lead the way?
I'll take point.
All right, you fly, you leap again, make another athletics check, because unfurl your wings while you're jumping.
10.
It doesn't look good. Like, you take an extra step that you missed, and your front feet, your front toes are on the silvery stuff. They slide out from under you. You hit, you bounce, though, and you kind of unfurl your wings and give a flap, and you get aloft. And maybe you just look a little foolish in doing so.
This is like the water tank all over again.
Yeah. You're flying around in the room. Are you embarrassed by this, that you would want to not look your allies in the face? Or do you just kind of like, yeah, no, I'm fine, and continue on your way? Do you turn back to look at them as they fly through the door?
He just shrugs it off.
Yeah. So do you turn back to look at them as they fly through the door, or do you head further into the room?
I'm going to head further into the room.
All right. You proceed to head further into the room, which is the choice that you would normally make. You have now earned a blue gem because the 2 of them, who leads the way?
I'm going to lead the way.
Excellent. And you're right directly
Yeah.
behind, like the 2 of you like run through the doors together sort of thing. Yeah. This fly spell does not take effect. Like, you fly initially as you enter the door, and then as soon as you go through the door, the spell immediately is removed. Like counterspelled sort of thing. And both of you crash heavily into the floor and slide the 15 feet forward towards the pit.
As we're sliding towards, can I try to get my balance to try and leap over the pit?
I would love to say yes, but you are a -1 strength athletics person.
Cast web.
Half plate, that you might be better suited to go with your strengths as opposed to your strength in this matter.
Cast web.
I feel like Zufus, because he talks in that manly voice, always feels
Thinks
like
he's
he's a big,
smart.
manly, strong guy, when he's really a spindly, tiny, little, very stalwart master of magical potions and accoutrement. Thesis, your spell has failed, and you are sliding towards a pit filled with razor blades.
Boo.
I could also cast Gust of Wind to push us back.
Or
The other
push you
way.
guys over. Oh, no, wait.
No,
this-
it would just push us towards the pit faster.
I love it.
I think web might be the smartest choice, just because then
Are we thinking, though, that this is a
Stop us?
spell-free area?
You have a reaction and an action to do this. You are sliding towards death.
I'm going to cast Web to cover the pit.
Yeah, across the top of the pit, right? Yeah, perfect. You cast web. It doesn't need to require a roll. Please give me the color.
As I am frantically sliding towards the pit, I grab my spray bottle from my back pocket and I quickly attach a dusty gray bottom to it, and I click it, and a spider web shoots out, kind of like it just,
you're Spider-Man.
yeah. It's kind of like Spider-Man. So a web just shoots out of the nozzle towards the pit.
How big is the web?
20 feet.
20 feet on an edge, right? It's 20 by 20. So it's going to take up...
Yeah, 20-foot cube.
It'll stop us at least.
It's going to take up all that space. And you're telling me a tiny little spray bottle you use to shoot firebolt covers all of that in an instant?
Yeah, with Spider-Man.
Like, I can get it with a Spider-Man thread of thwip. But what is the thingy that causes everything else to cause more webbing to suddenly appear?
It's the particle mutation when it hits oxygen.
I was thinking like you have a tiny ball of densely packed spider web that after you put that nozzle on, you clip it to the nozzle. When you spray, it shoots the thing out, hits where you want it to go, and it goes...
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay, that's cool. You fumble in your pack. You're sliding towards impending doom. I think you need to make some sort of intelligence saving throw to react in time to get this web off.
I would say that's probably correct.
All right, so go for it, especially since Thesis is in front. Thesis, what are you trying to do to stop yourself?
I have a grappling hook in my dungeon train pack.
Okay.
Try and...
You're going to sliding as quickly as humanly possible towards your impending death.
Fine, I'll use my arm blade to try and divert myself.
Make a strike with your arm blade at the ground.
I am very strong.
How did you do on your intelligence saving throw?
19.
Yeah, okay. Zuvus is good in a moment's notice, does the things necessary, casts web, shoots out exactly where you want it to go, covering the pit, and your arm blade attack.
I got a critical failure.
Okay, you miss utterly. You cut the edge of the web itself. No.
I was going to say, don't cut the web.
And you fall into the hole. No, you miss. It just glances off the ground.
Yeah, no, I feel like I roll into the web, off of, I roll into the web or slide directly into the web, and I'm kind of bound up like a spider or spider's prey in the web a little bit. That's how I pictured it.
Your strike against the floor sends you in a spin.
Yeah.
And you have no control over yourself as you hit the corner of the web and it flops you over and you end up stuck face down in this web. And then Zuvus, feet first, hits you and knocks you free so that the two of you are now able to move around on this web with extreme difficulty.
Over top of the razor blade
We
pit.
still both have to roll a dexterity saving throw so we don't get restrained.
Yes. What I'm suggesting is that you're not going to get restrained from your own spell.
Okay.
And that you have stopped your forward momentum by freeing up Thesis so that instead of making checks, you're just cautiously making your way across this web.
Wonderful.
Meanwhile, Vulcan hears a terrible commotion sound, which you're assuming is a trap that has been sprung, because what other sound could that be? You turn in midair. What is your reaction to this when you see what you see before you?
He sees the pile of Warforged and Triton in this spider webbing, and he just, great, they're stuck. And then he flies down to them, and he's just kind of hovering there.
You can't hover as a tiefling.
Okay, so he's just gonna
fly around.
Yeah, he's just gonna fly
lazily
around.
flying around in circles.
Yeah. What are you doing?
Avoiding falling into a daggerous pit.
So I cast fly, and then it didn't do the thing when we went through the door. I think there's something that prevents spells from before going through the door.
So then where did this webbing come from?
Oh, that was Zuvus being awesome.
Yeah,
Being a Spider-Man's.
pretty much. We likely could have avoided this if you just carried us one by one through the passage to the other side. I thought about that after.
Hindsight is however far away we are from the door, but...
Did you undo the door?
No, I
You
haven't
opened
tried
it?
the door.
That's really hard to do if it's still slippery over there, too.
We'll be able to get it open. How far away are we from the...
You are 20 feet from the edge of the pit, and then 25 feet-ish from the door.
Because we still have another pit to go through. I could cast web again.
You could.
Yeah. Except then I have no level 2 spell slots left.
Correct.
So
Also, making your way back from this
Area.
phase back to your needed space for like an 8-hour long rest is very difficult, knowing how hard this room is to traverse.
All of the rooms are hard to traverse.
Just
far.
these ones, yeah.
It's very hard. I don't like it.
That's what your character is saying.
Yeah.
So what do? You're on the
Very
edge of
hard.
this web. You have 25 feet and you can see your exit in sight.
I have a rope. Do you want my rope?
I mean, I personally don't need it. How long does web last for?
1 hour.
So in that time, would I be able to ferry them back and forth?
How are you ferrying them back and forth?
Like carrying them, like one at a time?
Is somebody suggesting the rope? Thesis weighs how much?
Oh.
Porcelain doll robot person?
Yeah, she's
Normally
probably
they're-
quite heavy.
Exceptionally heavy. And our half plate wearing alchemist in all of his gear.
Without the plate, I weigh 185 pounds.
And then with the plate, more than.
A lot.
So you are a very strong, capable individual, absolutely. But flying while so encumbered would be very, very difficult. However, you only have to get them 25 feet to a door. So I would think that you could fly up to the roof, which is also coated in this silver substance. You could fly up to the roof, drop a rope down, fly back, fly forward just enough to give them enough momentum to swing forward 25 feet and hopefully hit the door. If that's what you're trying to think of is like, but like, yeah, you could probably carry one of them in your arms and throw them at the door.
And you said the door doesn't have the silver?
Door has no silver substance on it whatsoever.
So open the door first and throw us through them. Wee.
Probably be easier with the rope than physically throwing, because
Yeah.
it would be very hard for him to carry anybody and fly.
And I still don't know what all 8 of those potions I have are, right? Like, I don't know if any of those would be helpful in this situation.
No idea. I mean, you know what one of the potions is,
Do
technically, right? Do you?
I don't think I do.
Out of game, you do.
Could I secure the rope to the door rather than swing them? And then, no, that won't work.
Holy moly, half plate weighs 40 pounds. Pretty much all you can carry. You're like, this armor is so dear to me.
After this adventure, I might change it out.
Zuvus, you
Yeah.
might be like, this was a bad choice.
Yeah,
It looked so good on the mannequin, though.
exactly.
Look at my butt in this
All right.
armor.
How are you going to get yourself free? What are you going to do? You're going to cast web again? Or are you going to try some sort of swinging rope trick with the flying
So,
barbarian?
just to confirm, this is like another area of silver?
Yes, it's all silver everywhere,
I hate it so much.
except the doors.
I kind of want to try the rope.
Yeah, you could try to like tie the rope to the door. That would be fine.
He was going to tie
The
to
door
this.
is just on the other side of the pit.
Oh.
So if you pulling yourself to that is just going to end up throwing you into the pit.
Oh.
So are you going to cast web again and make this easy on everybody? Or are you going to do some sort of fandangled rope athletics trick?
Wish I had rope trick.
Would help a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm going to cast web again and just make it easy.
Okay. So while you're flying around and people are discussing it and you're asking for rope and whatnot, Zuvus just stands up.
Load my spray bottle with another web pellet, and I fire it.
Right at Vulcan. No.
That'd be
So funny. He like gets trapped and then falls into the dagger pit.
There is a 7-foot-ish space of silver floor between one web group and the next web group. And your feet are all stuck and sticky to it. So make the easiest of athletic checks, knowing that even if you fail and you hit the silvery stuff, you're just going to slide into the web and get stuck and it'll just be color. Easiest of athletics checks to jump across. Zuvus has failed.
Yeah, I got a 4.
I got a 7.
So it seems like the easiest of athletics
Yeah.
checks as you like hop over, get your feet unstuck,
Yeah.
and hop over. Zuvus gets 1 foot unstuck, then goes to hop and puts his foot back down and then just falls forward flat on his face, getting his head stuck in the web of the other webbing, and then needs help of someone to come over and free his damn foot because he can't get leverage to get his silly foot up. And he says,
I intended to do that.
and that's where we'll end today's session.
Raise a glass and drink with the enemy. Raise a glass and sing with the enemy. And I'm not gonna do
This concludes this episode of Tavern Tales, a curated Dungeons & Dragons 5e game set in the Tales of the Yawning Portal adventure module by Wizards of the Coast. Our intro and outro music is the song Tavern Tales by the Bad Billy Band. You can find out more about the Bad Billy Band on iTunes or at www.badbillyband.com or follow them on Twitter at badbillyband. Thanks for listening. Please feel free to leave us a review on iTunes or find us on Twitter at tavern_tales. We'll be back next week with more of the adventure.